Hello everyone, my name is Kenya Horton, and in this video I want to do a quick breakdown of the Sharif strategy for you. It has been trending like crazy. I want to say thank you so much to Mr. Sharif for sharing your awesome strategy with us. My passion is being able to help, educate, inspire people, taking information and dumbing it down for anyone to be able to understand, and that's what I love to do in IML. So I am going to share a few examples with you. I've demoed this strategy. I've had amazing success with it. I actually use Davin's 4 rules, and I think one of the reasons why I do love the Sharif strategy so much is because it is very similar to Davin's 4 rules. However, I really like having as many confirmations as I can. But I do like the Sharif strategy. I focus a lot on the 15-minute chart. So I'm going to show you some tips and things that I do and what has helped make me successful, and just things that I think could also help you as well. So grab a pen, paper, take some notes. There's a lot of great content out there already on the Sharif strategy, and I'm just adding to this. I want to give you a visual example. I know a lot of people often question, when is a good time to enter the trade with the Sharif strategy? So I'm going to talk about entry. I'm going to show you some examples on the web analyzer so that you can have an idea of what to do. And then what I recommend you do is, I'm going to show you some tips. Incorporate those things into your daily trading plan, okay? Go demo this strategy. Don't rush to go into a live account, because the more confident you are in a demo account, you're going to take that same success into your trading account. In your demo account, be realistic. Start with those low lot sizes and work your way up. You'll get to those higher lot sizes, but let's go ahead and jump right into it. I'm actually going to share my screen with you, and I'm just going to go over a few notes, and then I'm going to show you exactly how I approach this, okay? So you can take a screenshot of this if you want to. I'll also probably put this in the IMO web analyzer group so that people can access this as well. But let's go through some bullet points, okay? So for the Sharif strategy, what we focus on first is, before we even take a trade, we check the news for red folders. So I'm going to go to forexfactory.com, and I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about. And I want to make sure that you are comfortable with understanding forexfactory.com, okay? So you basically, every time before you take a trade, you want to go on forexfactory.com, and you want to look for high impact news. That's what we refer to as red folders, okay? So tomorrow is April 23rd. I already kind of fast forwarded to tomorrow just to kind of see what's projected out there. And so we have red folders for CAD and also AUD, okay? We don't have a time frame for AUD just yet, but let's just say, for example, we have CAD news at 3:30 p.m. So typically what we do is we avoid trading these pairs. So I would avoid trading CAD 1 hour before the news announcement and 1 hour after. Because what can happen is you could be in this trade and it could totally go your way, but it could totally go against you, and you don't want that to happen. So it's really just safe to avoid red folders overall, okay? So how you can set the time frame for these, right here at the top to your right next to login, you'll see 8:04 p.m. right now on my computer. If you click on the time, you'll notice that this is the synchronized time, okay? So this is the synchronized time, and it says, as you can see, the synchronized time does not match your device clock. So what you want to do is you want to make sure the synchronized time matches your device clock, and my clock currently says 5:18 p.m. So if this is matching the clock on your computer, then basically what that's going to do is you're going to have a synchronized time. So now it's showing successfully. So let me save my settings. And now what's going to happen, so see, your synchronized time is now 5:18 p.m. So the synchronized time can be found at the top of every page. So now it's here. So now what's going to happen is that when I go to look at forexfactory.com, all of the news announcements, it's going to show in my local time zone. So now let's see, let's go to tomorrow. Tomorrow's the 23rd. And now I can see that CAD announcement is at 12:30 p.m. my time, okay? So that's how you would control the time settings on forexfactory.com. So you can decide if you want to avoid those folders the entire day. Some people do. But typically, we just avoid trading these pairs that are in red folders 1 hour before and 1 hour after, okay? So that is the first thing we do. Now, I'm going to take you back to our notes, and you can screenshot this if you want, and we're going to finish going through the bullet points. So after we've checked the red folders, next, no matter what time the web analyzer calls the trade, we always look at the 15-minute chart. So let me kind of show you exactly what that looks like. Okay, I'm going to take you to the web analyzer really quickly, and we're going to look at an example of it. So let me pull up my web analyzer. Okay, so now we're on the web analyzer, and I'm just going to refresh this. So let's say, for example, our last trade that was called was Euro USD, and it was called on a 5-minute chart. So when I click on Euro USD, actually I think that's the one that's pulling up. Yep, it's a 5-minute chart. But no matter what, we want to focus on the 15-minute chart for the Sharif strategy. So you just want to make sure you look at the 15-minute chart, okay? Let me go back to my notes, and let's go through more of our bullet points. All right, so this strategy appears to work best during the London and the New York session. It focuses on the RSI on the overbought 80 to 100 and the oversold zone of 20 to 0. I'm going to show you what that looks like. Your RSI is set at a default of 7 and close. A good entry is critical with this strategy, and you want to trade on confirmation of the next candle forming, which I'm going to show you a visual example of that so you can know what to expect. Also, Sharif focuses on trading currency pairs that have low spreads, which are GBP USD, Euro USD, Euro GBP, and USD JPY. When I say low spreads, that means the commission that we pay the broker to trade that specific pair, okay? So normally we pay pretty low spreads if you're with a broker who has pretty reasonable spreads, hopefully. And so we pay low spreads when we trade those pairs, and some pairs have higher spread than others, but these typically are pairs that have very low spreads. So these are the ones that Sharif focuses on. So I want to give you a few tips, things that have helped me with this strategy and other strategies that I use as well. So one, I downloaded an app called Easy RSI, and I want to show it to you really quickly. So I'm going to show you my phone, and it's right here. So Easy RSI. Okay, so I'm trying to get close enough so that you can see it. See it right there? It's right here. Easy RSI. And all you have to do is open it up. You can create an account if you want to, but let's run through some bullet points, because in my document, I show you exactly how to use Easy RSI and exactly what to do with it, okay? So what I do is I downloaded this app, and what happens is it'll send you alerts on the overbought and the oversold zone, which is a game changer, you guys, because you don't have to sit there and stare at your charts or stare at your screen constantly. It will alert you when it's in those zones and prep you to be able to take that trade. So what you would do is you download the app, you click on the plus sign at the top, and you add the pairs and select the 15-minute time frames, okay? You click on settings, you change the oversold to 20 and overbought to 80. When the pair is oversold, it is setting up for a buy, and if overbought, it's setting up for a sell. So it's going to tell you, it's going to alert you. When it sends you the alert, it's going to tell you if a pair is overbought or oversold, and it'll either be close to your 80 or it's going to be close to your 20 on the RSI setting. The best time to trade the Sharif strategy is the London session. London opens at 3 a.m. EST to 12 p.m. EST. And also I found that the New York session is also a really great time to trade the Sharif strategy. This strategy works on any time frame, but I found through journaling my trades that this strategy works best during these time frames, okay? So one of the things that have been really helpful for me is journaling trades, and I want to show you an example of that as well too, because I want to show you exactly how I discovered this strategy worked for me. So like I said, you want to check the news for red folders. Here are your settings. Your Bollinger Bands should be on 20 and close. Your RSI is on 7 and close with levels 20 and 80, and your Stochastic is on 14, 3 and 3. So let me take you to the web analyzer, and let's go through that step by step. And I'm also going to show you how to control some of your settings as well. Okay, so let me just pull this up really quickly. Okay, so the web analyzer here. So for example, this is your Bollinger Band here. So you can see it says BB, it's on 20, close, and 2. Now, when you're in the web analyzer, you want to make sure that your strategy selected is the Sharif strategy. If you don't know how to select a strategy, all you have to do is click on the strategy right here. You're always going to see some type of strategy by default, or another way you can access it is by clicking on this gear over here. It's like a settings gear, this little circle wheel. And if you click on it, it's going to bring up this right here. And you can click on this drop down arrow and see all the different strategies that we have, okay? And all you would do is select the Sharif strategy. You can click Save for Mobile, Save Settings, and Reload, and then it's going to have the settings for you. Now, if it doesn't have the settings that are on the document, I'm going to show you how you set that up. Okay, so by default, it usually has 20 and close for the Bollinger Band, and I'll go through exactly what you want to look for on this. And then on the RSI, you want it to be 7 and close. If yours has 14, you simply can change it by clicking on this little middle icon right here that says Format. If you click on it, you will see that the length says 7. If you wanted to change that, you can. And then let me show you how you put in your inputs, because we use 80 and 20 for the overbought and oversold zone. So if yours says 70 and 30, for example, all you have to do is click on Style. And you'll notice over here, this is where you can change the numbers. So I have 80 for the, I have 80 and also 20 for my settings, okay? I got this little pink squiggly line here by just changing the color right here. So you can change the color of that any color you want. You can make it a little transparent, or you can make it darker. That's how I did that. And then importantly, you just want to click on Save as Default, and then you close it out, okay? For your stochastic, I have it on 14, 3, and 3. That's the settings that Sharif uses. I actually use 5, 3, and 3 because I use that with Davin's strategy, and I feel like it's just a little bit faster, which I like. But you can leave yours at 14, 3, and 3, demo this, and figure out what's best for you. If you wanted to change it, you simply click on this middle gear right here. And again, you can see your settings right here. So we keep that on 80 and 20 as well. You can change the colors of it if you want. And that's pretty much it. You click on inputs, you can change the inputs there as well too, okay? So that's how you set up your settings on the web analyzer. Now, I'm gonna take you back to our document, and I'm also gonna show you an example trade, so just sit tight. But right now, I'm gonna show you the document and we're gonna continue going through it, okay? So I told you the best times to trade this strategy. We know that we're focusing on the 15-minute time frame. So what's gonna happen is this. You're gonna trade on the 15-minute chart only. If the web analyzer cha-chings, no matter what time frame it's called on, you're gonna go to the 15-minute chart. Do not be concerned if the web analyzer calls a trade in one direction on a higher time frame. So example, if they call it on a 1-hour time chart, it doesn't matter. You're always gonna go to the 15-minute time, okay? So let's go over Bollinger Bands. So Bollinger Bands and candles. You wanna look at the last 2 to 3 candles on the web analyzer, and you wanna ask yourself, is the wick or the body of the candle crossing the band? If not crossing or touching, do not take the trade. So let's go over exactly what that should look like. And then I'm gonna show you actually a trade that I took where it's a good example of what you're looking for. So I'm gonna give you an example right here, okay? So notice this is Euro USD. I'm gonna make this a little bit bigger because this is a great example. And if you notice right here, on our document, you want to look at this, they called a buy, so this is a buy, all right? And this is our Bollinger Bands. So if this was a buy, you looked at the last 3 candles that formed, and it was a sell, and they called a buy. So you want to make sure that this candle is pushing through the band, the outside of the band, not the wick. I like the body pushing through the Bollinger Band because it's just a stronger confirmation for me, and that's exactly what you want. Notice here that once this was setting up, let's see, and we're on the 15-minute chart, okay? So I like my RSI to come kind of down below the 20. The further down, the better for me, but this is still great, okay? The stochastic, I love the stochastic, guys, because what I've learned through journaling my trades is that when the stochastic crosses in the direction that I needed to cross on the 15-minute chart, the momentum starts like crazy. And so what you want is if this is a buy, you would want, this is perfect, like the stochastic is coming down, it's under the 20, and it goes up and it crosses over the red, That's exactly what you want. And you can notice that the momentum started on that candle, and this is on a 15-minute chart. So you would have grabbed a couple pips right there, okay? So when do you enter? I enter the trade on the 15-minute chart. I first check to see if the candle forming, so if they call a buy, you would want the buy candle forming, okay? So when they called it, probably was, let's say right here, right? It was setting up. You want to wait until this blue candle starts to form. That's your first confirmation, and it's outside of the Bollinger Band. Second, you want to make sure that it's below 20. You can get in if it's touching 20, totally up to you. I like it when it's, you know, under 20 and forming in the direction that it needs to be. So it's under 20 and it's pointing up. Also to the stochastic, like I said, it came down and it's pointing up. It's going in the direction that it needs to go. And if you notice, that blue candle there formed. One of the things that I do like to check for is I like to make sure and see if there's a trend. So I always click on the 1 hour time frame. And if you kind of notice, this is kind of going in a downtrend. Okay, we have a lot of sell going on, a lot of sell candles if you notice. Such a downtrend, right? So one of the things that I just want to caution you, and what I've learned just from journaling, is that I don't like to go against the trend. We say the trend is our friend. You want to trade with the trend. So you have to be very careful when you see a trend, because it is so easy to, you know, a lot of people aren't that good with entries, and that's why we love the web analyzer, because it was created to help us with entries. But with this particular strategy, you want to demo it to make sure that you really understand the entry and where to get in, because you don't want to get in at the wrong time and you find yourself stuck in a trend. And, you know, and probably some of you can relate to what I'm talking about, but you have to be really, really careful, okay? So just be aware of trends. And, you know, sometimes if it's a strong trend, I don't even take that trade because I don't want to get stuck. So your entry is critical. Now, we went over the RSI. I showed you how to set up your settings for that. Now, for a buy, you want to take trades that are on 20 to 0 on the RSI. Note, wait until the bullish candle starts to form, then you place a buy. So let me go over that for you again really quickly. I believe in breaking this down and giving you very good visual demonstrations so that you understand what to do. So let's go back to, for example, let's go to AUD USD. And this was a buy that was called. And we're going to look at the RSI and compare this to the notes that we were just talking about, okay? So this was called on a 15-minute chart, which is excellent. And I'm just going to focus, let's see. Let me find a really good area here. So I found one that I really, really like. So let's say right here, let's say the trade is called here, okay? So notice there was 1, 2, 3 red candles, right? And they're all pushing through the band, which is what you want. You would, and then notice the RSI is here and it's touching, it's right at 20. I like mine to be below, kind of like right here. This is what I like right here. But this one is at 20, okay? And it starts to point up. And notice the stochastic drop below 20 and starts to point up, and it's gonna cross over the red. So as soon as this drops and starts to cross up, that's when I start entering the trade. The stochastic is key for me. The RSI, of course, is gravy, but the stochastic is very critical. The stochastic is even further confirmation, okay? And look what happened. You have all your confirmations here that lined up. So visually, I want you to understand this is the type of trade that you're looking for, but be cautious of trends, okay? This is just a visual demonstration to kind of show you so that you understand what the candlesticks look like. What should it be doing? Is it pushing through the band? Yes. We got the RSI is confirmed. The stochastic is confirmed. And now the blue candle is forming. So the blue, look at that nice long blue candle pushing through the band. You would have gotten some good pips there, okay? So that is exactly what you want to look for. So that's a good visual demonstration. Now let's finish going through the steps. And I'm going to show you another trade that I actually put it on. Okay, so we went through a buy. So on a buy again, the Bollinger Bands, it should be touching the lower band with the body of the candle, not the wick. So you always want to touch, if they call a buy on the 15-minute chart, is the candle touching the lower band with the body, with its body, not the wick? And if it's a buy, it needs to be the green candle that's forming. But if you're looking 3 candles back and they're, for example, they're red candles, You want to make sure those candles are pushing through the Bollinger Band. Next, the RSI. Is it below 20 and the line is looking up? Yes or no? So that's what we just went through. And also your stochastic. If they call a buy for a stochastic, is it below the 20 and crosses up? Yes or no? If you answer any one of these no, then you do not take the trade. If you take the trade, you just have to know that you won't have the best entry. You'll probably be in that trade for a little bit longer, and you need to just follow the rules. So if it's a sell, for example, let's look at a sell. Now for a sell, we take trades that are on 80 to 100 on the RSI. And note, you want to wait until the bearish candle starts to form when you place a sell. You want to ask yourself, is it touching the upper band with the body of the candle? Yes or no? Is the RSI above 80 and the line is looking down? Yes or no? Is the stochastic above 80 and crosses down? Yes or no? Okay, so I'm going to show you an example of this. Bear with me. But the reason for the choice of 80 to 100 and 20 to 0 on the RSI is that if you enter at these points, you will already be in profit before the RSI gets to 70 or 30. Most people wait until the RSI gets to 70 or 30 to enter the trade. When you're getting in between 80 or 20 on the overbought zone, then you are going to be in profit really quickly once it starts to go your way. So that's why we love those 80 and 20 settings on the RSI, okay? The market will follow the trend after it gets deep into 70 to 60, which is that bearish, and 30 to 40, which is that bullish zone. We take profit from 0 to 30 on a buy and 100 to 70 on a sell. Any trades outside of 0 to 30 and 100 to 70 is considered very risky, and it is advisable we should avoid such trades. So let me show you an example. This is an example here of a trade that I took. The pair was AUD USD. It was on the 15-minute time frame. Now this is on my phone because I normally trade from my phone. I do love my desktop. I usually get on my desktop early in the morning during the New York session, but at night, sometimes I trade from my bed and I just have all my settings on my phone and everything. So I trade from an iPhone. So notice this, guys, okay? So Bollinger Band, this is a sell that they called. So you see that we have nice, strong blue candles pushing through the band. My RSI, I got an alert on Easy RSI, and it notified me that this was overbought, so it's preparing for a sale. And look how it's nicely way over 80 on the RSI. This is exactly what you want. Notice how the stochastic, my green, I have my green line here that crosses over the signal line. So notice how that is way above 80 and it starts to point down. That's exactly what you want. And here you go. My red candle started to form. So all of my confirmations are there, okay? You can notice that this started to, well, you kind of want to look out, like I said, in an hour time frame to see if there's a trend or not. But this is everything that I needed to happen on this time frame. The Bollinger Band was confirmed. The RSI was confirmed. The stochastic was confirmed. Super, super easy. I got in this trade at 0.10 lot size, so that's $1 lot size. I normally do a 3 pip take profit. Sometimes I do a 5 pip take profit. Some trades I can squeeze almost 10 pips, but honestly, guys, I don't get greedy. I have pretty much gotten 100%, not 100, but it's almost like I say 97, 98%. Because I've demoed the Sharif strategy a lot, and honestly, I've only had like 3 losses out of all the trades. And I've done a lot of trades. It's crazy. And I go for 3 pips. And what I find is that when I go for 3 pips, I win all day long. It's really crazy. But like I said, I also combine it with Davin's 4 rules because I like a lot of confirmation. And it just absolutely works. So I wanted to just show you a visual example. So for those of you who are visual, hopefully this gives you a good understanding of what you're looking for on the chart. So you just want to make sure that all of your confirmations are there. And when you enter the trade, when I like a nice, strong, I like it to be nicely pointing down on the RSI, because what you'll find is sometimes you'll get a little pullback with these trades. And when you do, it's normally, for example, I don't like to get in the trade if the RSI is pointed up and it hasn't started to point down yet, because that just tells me that it's going to keep going up. These little blue candles are going to keep forming. It's not ready. It's not set up yet. On the stochastic, if it's still pointing up and it's not even turned down, it's not pointing down, that tells me it's not finished buying, guys. It's going to keep going up. And that's where you don't want to get stuck. You don't want to get in the trade too early and you find that it goes up 15 more pips and now you're negative 15 pips. So your entry is very critical. And that's why I recommend you demo your way to success. So this is an example of a trade. Here's a visual picture. This is the take profit. I normally do three entries, and sometimes I'll do two, but normally I do 3 entries. When I had a very small account, I started with 0.01 lot size, 0.02 lot size, and I just did a lot of trades, guys. I was doing like, I don't know, 20 to 30 trades a day. And it was great practice for me because now I'm so confident in using this strategy and trading on the web analyzer, and I just absolutely love it. So I recommend you do the same thing. Don't be in a rush to, get those higher profits. You don't want to blow your account. You want to use proper risk management, start with a very low lot size. And those smaller profits really do add up. It really does grow your account. And as you grow your account, you can start increasing your lot size, okay? So you might want to, if you're new to this, I recommend not even doing 2 to 3 entries. You can do 1 entry, or if you do 2 entries, just do 0.01 lot size and go for 3 pips. You just want to make sure that you have consistent wins, that you have great entries, and you understand when to get into the trade, okay? So I have here just some notes for you entering the trade. You want to enter by sell or by market execution. So what I do is when I see all of my confirmations lined up, I go to my phone, I open up my MetaTrader 4, I find the pair that I want to trade, I pull it up, I click on trade, and all I do is I hit market or buy execution, and I just do it 2 times, okay? You enter the trade once, do it again, enter another time, and now you're entering the trade twice. After I do that, the trade is usually running. I then go back. Sometimes your take profit can hit so fast if your entry is great. That's why, honestly, I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't even have time to set a stop loss sometimes because my trade will take profit so fast that I really don't have time. Sometimes I don't have time to set a take profit either. I go for 3 pips. If I see that I do get into a trade and it has some pullback, I go back and I modify my trade and I put in a 3 pip take profit. So if you don't know how to count pips, you can go to my YouTube channel. I have a video that shows you how to calculate pips, okay? Very, very easy. And you can look at that for more help. But I basically just calculate my take profit. I input that. And if I know that, there's some pullback and maybe I'm not going to be able to watch the trade, I determine what I want to do for a stop loss. I used to do a 20 pip stop loss. I no longer do that. I'm just very different. Everyone's different, and I respect how everyone trades. I usually decide every time I take a trade how much I want to risk on that trade. I've built my account really nicely. I trade several accounts, and so one of the things that I do is I just decide before I take a trade how much I want to risk on that trade. Sometimes it might be 15 pips because if I know that I got a really good entry and I'm more than confident that trade will go my way, I'll usually do probably a 15 pip stop loss, but a 20 pip stop loss tends to be sufficient enough room for that trade to do what it needs to do. Sometimes I don't do that. Sometimes I might say, you know what, the most I want to risk on this trade is $12 or $22 or $23. So mine is usually a dollar amount because I only want to risk so much on my account per day. So you can do the same or just decide what that looks like for you. So again, entering the trade, you just want to enter by sell or by market execution. You want to make sure that your Bollinger Band hits. So you have a confirmation on the Bollinger Band. Your candle is going through the band, not the wick, but the body of the candle is going through the band. You have a strong line pointing up or down on the RSI. Your stochastic is crossing over. And you also want to go for a 3 to 5 pip take profit. You can do your stop loss, you can have it open, or do a 20 pip stop loss, or you can do 1% of your account, which is usually recommended, risk 1% of your account on each trade. Or it's totally up to you guys. What you have to ask yourself is, how much am I willing to risk on each trade? What am I willing to lose on this trade, okay? So make sure you screenshot this. Go ahead and screenshot this for yourself. I'm also gonna try to probably put this in the web analyzer group. One last thing that, I'll just go back so you can screenshot this again. You need to screenshot this, go ahead. And then I'll go ahead and scroll up so that you can screenshot this again. And then the next thing I'm going to show you is a sample of a trading journal and how my trading journal really helped me to kind of spot some things. So if you're not using a trading journal, I highly recommend it. A trading journal, I'm going to show you exactly what my trading journal looks like, what I keep inside of it. But my trading journal helped me to realize what I liked, like pairs that I like to trade, pairs that I don't like to trade. When I was learning the Davin's 4 rules and the Sharif strategy, it helped me to realize when I had a good entry, when I didn't. It helped me start to see trends on my trades. So I want to show you a little bit of that, and I want to show you something that I kind of learned. So let me just see if I can find it really quickly. And this is one of them for one of my accounts. So I'll just show you this one when it shows up. And on my trading journal, a few things that I have, I usually have the pair. Let's see here, let me refresh this. It might take a little bit longer. So let's see, while that's pulling up, I'm gonna take you, hold on one second, trading journal. Let me find this, bear with me. Okay. All right, so it's just loading up here. So on a trading journal, what I do is when I'm on my phone, I don't input everything on my journal. I go back and enter it later. I usually like to add everything to my journal at the end of the day. In the morning when I'm trading the New York session, I usually will have, hold on one second, I don't know why this is not showing. In the morning when I'm trading the New York session, I usually will have all my important tabs pulled up on my computer. So I have my trading plan, I have my trading journal, I have the web analyzer and forexfactory.com. So this is what I have on my trading journal. I have the date, I have the time that I entered the trade, I have the currency pair, whether if it was a buy or a sell, I have the lot size, the number of trades that I placed. So I put if I twin traded it or not, or how many trades I placed on that same pair. I put how many pips I gained, how long I was in the trade. I put which strategy I did, and then I highlight, trends that I started to see. So for example, with Davin's 4 rules, even though that's not the strategy we're really talking about, but the 15-minute chart is so critical for me with Davin's 4 rules. And that's why when Sharif introduced his strategy, everything was so similar. It was almost like, especially the RSI and just changing some of those settings even made the strategy even stronger. So it was just a beautiful thing for me. So those are things that you start to notice when you journal your trades, is you start to learn different things that kind of stick out. And all I did was I make notes on what I see, if I made mistakes, things like that. But I have so many trades that I've journaled, and I usually will highlight my losses in red. So this is just one. I have another spreadsheet as well too with a lot more, but this is one that I recently started on this trade, right? This actually Excel spreadsheet. But I usually will highlight my losses in red, and yeah, and everything. All the other ones are wins. All the ones that I put, several trades on. And what I noticed is that the 15-minute stochastic is key, and that's why I look at the 15-minute stochastic, which is so critical for me on the Sharif strategy and also Davin's 4 rules. So I'm going to wrap this up really shortly, but I'm going to see if I can go through a few more trades with you just so that you can kind of have a good understanding of what you're looking for. So Euro USD was just called on the 15-minute chart. And so let's see if we can kind of look at some history. I think we looked at this one before. So let me scroll and see if I can find some other ones. And I'm just going to point out some things to you, okay? So I just scroll. Let's check out USD CAD. So I'm going to pull up USD CAD, and I'm just going to show you some good examples because we can always look back at the history and kind of see where we had a good setup. Oh boy, look at this. Okay, so this is the 15-minute chart. So as you can see, it looks like we got a nice little uptrend going on here. Let's check the 1 hour chart. Yep, kind of got an uptrend going on. So let's kind of look at what this trade did on the 15-minute chart and see if we could find a good example. So I normally like to focus, I like to look at the overbought and oversold zone. Let's see here. So, well, we have some good confirmations here. So let's see. How about, so as you can see here, our RSI was way above 80. And you can see right about here, we had a slight little red candle forming. But when it came up and started to cross down, we actually had, let's see, USD CAD. Let's make sure, let's see what this trade was caught on. It was a sell. So this is another thing. So look at this, guys. This is a strong uptrend, and they want us to sell USD CAD. So when I look at trades like this, and I'm like, okay, this is making its way on up. This is a strong uptrend, and you want me to sell this? I don't know if I want to sell this. Like, look at these strong blue candles here, okay? And although the RSI here is strong, look at this short red candle. That's not enough for me. I want something like this. This long, this is what I need right here. This long candle, I need that to be a long red candle if I'm going to get into a sell. But I would kind of be cautious of trades like this because I rather trade with the trend. I don't want to go against the trend and get stuck into a trade. And before you know it, I'm so negative that I can't even, I have to take that as a loss. So those are things you want to be careful of. Let's look at GBP USD and see what's going on here. So I'm just trying to give you some visual examples so you kind of know what to expect, what to avoid, what to take. Now, let's see here. Oh, guys, this is an awesome example. So look at this. So here we have, let's see. So I'm just going to see if I can make this a little bit bigger. Hold on one second. Okay. So right here, see how these red candles are coming down? And this was called a sell. Hold on. Well, let's just pretend that we're looking at a buy right now, okay? So they called a sell on this, but I'm looking at the history just to show you some examples of when you would want to get into the trade. So let's say if this was a buy, for example, we got these red candles forming. The RSI is below 20. It's way below 20. You see that? But look at the stochastic. Stochastic is coming down and it's going up, okay? It actually crossed over the red. And this is what you want. When it starts to cross up and it's going for a buy, you want this RSI to come down and point up. Once it starts pointing up, your stochastic is confirmed, your RSI is confirmed, this blue candle starts to form, this is when you would enter the trade. Hit buy market execution, go ahead and take your 3 pips, your 3 to 5 pips, and you're done, guys. That's it. Look at that nice blue candle right there. I like that. It's pushing through the band. These candles before it are pushing through the band. You got a nice blue long candle there. And that's enough pips right there. Like I said, the only thing I would be cautious of is just trends. You want to be careful of trends, but otherwise, you want to look at these nice long candles. I don't like to get into trades that have these short little candles when there's a lot of consolidation going on, which means a lot of nothing. If you don't know what consolidation means, and they talk about that in Basics IML Academy 1 through 4. But I don't like these short candles. I like momentum on my trades, and that's why I like trading the London session and the New York session, because I have great high probability trades that give me a good result. All right, so that is the Sharif strategy. I hope that you found this video helpful. Again, if you have questions, drop your comments on this video. I am happy to answer them for you to clarify anything that you need. And also, guys, remember, take your time, demo your way to success, be patient. Patience is critical to your success. And I have no doubt in my mind that if you be patient, journal your trades, demo your trades, you're going to carry that success into your live account. Happy pips, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. And don't forget to subscribe to stay up to date on our channel.